from Denver 7. This is 7 News.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, once again, it looks like it's going to be one of those days where we head into the high 90s. And, of course, that means what do you do with the watering of the yard and the plants and everything else that keeps all of us green and making us feel so good? Kristen Fefes is with us right now with the Associated Landscapers of Colorado. Good morning, Kristen. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So what do we do? I mean, the question is, do we water every day? Do we back off? Can you overwater? Can you underwater? Yes,
it is. One of the things that happens the most to plants, the most damaging thing that can happen to plants actually is overwatering. In the tendency with the weather as hot as it's been lately and as dry as it's been is to just dump as much water as you possibly can on your landscape, but that's actually not the best thing to do.
That was, you know, that's what I did with some potted plants we had around the porch. Right away, as soon as things started to get close to 100 degrees, I just every day, and it seemed like morning and evening, and I killed a couple of pots that we had.
You did. Well, the thing you have to remember is that your soil is like a giant sponge, and that sponge needs to dry out before it can take more water. So once you start seeing the runoff on the sidewalk or on the porch or on the deck, you should stop watering and let it dry out. It's perfectly fine to water your yards, your beds, your containers a couple of times a day, but let it dry out because the roots growing deep is what makes them the most drought tolerant.
And that is key. And of course, that's very tough for trees. I guess one of the solutions would be a shade tree of some sort that you can put in your yard, around your house, whatever. Is that something that is viable at this point? Yeah,
you know, a shade tree there's some studies by the EPA that a shade tree planted, say, on the south side of your house can create a shaded area that's 10 to 35 degrees cooler than an unshaded area. And there are some great trees that you can plant in Colorado, some hawthorns, some maples, locusts that do well in our dry climate.
And here we are coming up to the beginning of August. Is it too late to do something like that now?
No, actually, fall is a great time to plant anything, trees in particular, because they can kind of get their roots in the ground and get established before the ground freezes. So it's a good time to plant coming up August and September.
And what should you do if you have to select a tree that would be best for your plot, your yard, your home? What's your best advice for that?
Well, I guess there are a couple of things. You really have to understand the space that you've got for that tree, because one of the most wonderful things about Denver is our beautiful tree canopy and how old a lot of these trees are, but you have to be able to have the right space for it. And hiring a professional landscape contractor or arborist, they can help you find the right place.
Yeah, I mean, just don't go out there and randomly say, oh, I like that crabapple tree because it blooms for a couple of weeks during the springtime. It may not be the best tree for your plant.
It depends. Yeah, it just depends on where you're going to put it and how close it is to your house and things like that.
There we go. Kristen, thanks so much. We appreciate that. You know, of course, if you want more information about how you can figure out all the right things about watering, irrigation, and the trees to plant in your yard, just go to denverchannel.com. And, of course, we'll have all that information for you right there when you click the big red TV button on your screen.